Hey everybody, Just Intuitive Angel Healer here with your Grounded. Thank you so much for joining us today for our fourth and final day of the 2021 Love and Light Women's Empowerment Conference. This is my first Zoom conference that I've put on, and I thought, what better month to try it out than the month of March, which is some people including myself, did not know until this month that March is not just my father's birthday, but it is also Women's Empowerment Month, and it's also International Women's Day as well. And it was something that was enacted into Congress back in the 1900 era, because I know the voting didn't happen for women until about 1914, so craziness. But anyways, today we have a very powerful producer, and at 333 Ascending 333 Productions, and she's also a published author, Patty Holmes. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to me being here and supporting other women like you doing your first set of conference, bringing females. It's a hard job. I want to say that, organizing, doing everything is a hard job. And I want to say, you're doing so good, Jess. Thank you for doing this for females. You're doing great. I really appreciated the opportunity to be here.
Well, I really appreciate that too. And, Jesse, we all know, if you know me on a personal level, what you see is what you get. I am that country song. And I just know, because I got a genuine heart, but I think sometimes my Tinkerbell self doesn't understand the world of structure and social media and how everybody else operates, because I just think we should all just show up and do it. And everybody's like, no, I have this and I have that, and so I learned a lot of things. But I think it's kind of fun that my angels had me learn another life lesson on my spiritual awakening on the week of my empowerment conference. And it just makes me a better person every day. And I want to let anyone out there know, because everybody, that's my point with all my stuff, is to let you know behind the scenes, hey, we are imperfectly perfect. And I am a hot mess if you catch me on the wrong day. But you know what? When we all get together, love is the only thing that matters. So if you made a mistake, if you woke up today, just know that that mistake is forgiven. And now you have, every day I wake up, I'm like, yay, another day to help somebody else out, to help them know that it's okay to make mistakes. And that's why I really want to do this conference, is to empower us as women and our souls, and to let everybody know that we don't need to fight each other. We need to just collaborate. And the more that we're showing in our history, we got to know our history first to make a difference. And if you don't know your history, then that's the first problem. And that's why I'm really doing this one now. Patty had an awesome, she wrote her memoir, and it's basically Dream Without Borders, but it's in Spanish.
It's in Spanish right now, but I'm working in translating into English. It's Un Sueño Sin Fronteras, or better say, A Dream Without Borders.
Yes, and she wrote this amazing book on her journey from coming from Mexico over to the United States, and how she established herself. And there's many times that she could have just said, I'm done, I give up, this is too hard. And we've all come to that moment.
I give up a few times.
And you're here. And that's why you're on my empowerment conference, because I really feel that we were talking about putting on just an international one, but it ended up turning into what we have today. But I had to have you on because your story touches me, and I know it's not it's the story of so many out there of just
Yes.
women and sure willpower, and you are not greedy with anything that you do because you came here and you're like, man, I'm going to teach other women and I've paved the way. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you and you're going to tell us all about your empowered woman in history. That is your shero, as Genesis says. And tell us all about your journey, a little bit about your journey and your empowered woman and your talk.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jess. Well, I'm here, and first of all, I have an extra accent, but that means I speak two languages. So put the captions on and get this. So my name is Betty Holmes, an immigrant from Mexico. I immigrated to United States 21 years ago, crossed the border without any legal papers. I was pregnant, crossed it without learning English. And then also ended up by myself. I crossed the desert for 3 days and I walked 3 days and 3 nights and I was pregnant and have the baby over here. Now she's 21. And well, I'm proud of everything. And the what if not exist, that is one of my quotes. What if never exists? So you have to live the moment. And it's what I did. I'm here now, 21 years later. I achieved the American dream. I'm a citizen of this amazing country. Yay, I'm ready. So I love United States. It's my country. My I don't think that I able to live in other country anymore, but not forget my roots, like Jesse was saying. If you never knew the where you come from, you don't know where you're going. So I want to say Mexico. Mexico, I love Mexico too. Mexico is in my heart. And, you know, I want to share with you today a beautiful woman in the past of Mexico. She was the pre-feminist. I don't know this neither because I have to research. I know about her because in Mexico we write and we know the biography of people when we go into school and we have to write about it. I know about her, but I don't know all the details. So now I'm going to tell you the details. Her name was Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, and she was a nun, but from her platform as a nun, she was a scholar. And let me show you something. I have something for you visually, that way you understand, and that helped me too. And this is a little bit about Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. So basically, she born in December. She was a Scorpio. Ooh, that is why she was so strong. And then she born in November 12th, 1651. And she died in April 17, 1695 in Mexico City. Actually, she was from Ameca. It's in the around the Popocatépetl. Oh my goodness, what to say that? It's a volcano in Mexico, close to Mexico City. So she was a poet, she was a dramatist, she was a scholar, self-taught scholar, let me tell you that, and a nun. I'm going to tell you why she turned and become nun. So that is one point that amazed me more than anything else. And she was a standing writer in Latin American colonial period and the Hispanic Baroque is what they call. I don't know much about that, but I have to put it in. So Sor Juana wrote her first poem when she was 8 years old, and she was teaching Latin to other children by the time that she was 13. Actually, in my research, a lot of books and about a lot of stuff about the talking about her story, she started learning about 3 years old, about to read about 3 years old. So her maternal grandfather owned a property in Ameca. Ameca is a state besides Mexico City. So she lived in a time in where females not have boys. You are good for have babies and to marry, and that's it. Cleaning the house, cooking. Is when the conquistadors, the Spaniards, came to Mexico, and there was all these um, ideas they was inserting to the Indians, the Aztecs in Mexico City. So that was the moment in where all the ideas from Spain that was came to Tenochtitlan. Basically, that was the time in where she was living. She was a mestizo, so she was a daughter illegit. What I would say, well, the parents they never get married, so she was nobody basically back then in the society, into the society. And Juana spent her early years living with her mother in his grandpa estate, which was like in the country. And the name of that place is Panoaya. Let me show you a little bit. I think is the next one. This isn't where she grew up, right there. So back then, when she was living in here around that age, since she born until the 8 years old, she had comprehensively studied Greek, logic, and she was teaching to other kids, Latin. Also, she learned Nahuatl on Aztecs language and spoke in Central Mexico, and she wrote some poems in that specific language. I was amazed about all this. This is all new for me. So then let me tell you a little bit more. At age 8, her grandfather died. He passed away. So she had to move. So the mom sent her to Mexico City. And she missed an all this book because this beautiful place that you are seeing in the screen, they have a big place in where they have books. So they have how say that where they have all these books. So the word goes for me, and she learned. So she go there and she submerged into the books. Is what she did. So when they sent her to Mexico City with a sister of her mom, her aunt have some connections with the viceroy. So she take advantage of all that, and she was thinking, let me show you here, just a little bit more information. She read a lot, so in her childhood, hiding in the sea, and that is what I was saying. And she read all the books of her grandparents. So Sor Juana want to discuss when she moved to Mexico City, and she want to dress up as a man because she want to go to college, basically. And what happened there, her family say, no, that is not going to happen. You're not going to college. You have to marry. You have to have kids, and that's it. And she was happy with that, and she was fighting. So the family forbid to do that because she want to dress as a man to go to college, right? So then this is one of her quotes, and I love this one. She say, I don't study to know more, but to ignore less. That is an amazing and a powerful quote from Juana Inés de la Cruz. So she, when her mother sent her to Mexico City, she become a service female or companion, if you want to say, because, back then when the Spaniards came and the viceroy wife, got her to be in there was like a castle in where they lived back then. And the viceroy wife, she checked that she was very, very smart and she speak very well. She was well behaved. So that kept her attention of the viceroy wife. And that she kept reading. They let her go to the place where they have all the books. And she kept reading. And a lot of men, they come to her to ask her for Mary, but she have a one flirt somewhere else that they know was nothing, because she know if she marry, she have to give up the love of learning. Back then it was like that. And she have to give up love. Plus, I believe so. I read something about that she get broke her heart because something happened in there with a guy, and something happened in, a teenager thing. But because the visitor wife was so, seeing that she was so knowledge and so intelligent, they test her at 17 years old. They they make a sample with all these smart men. They put it in, like when you graduate from a doctor or something. So they put it in all these tables in there. They sit down with her and they put it in the front, and they test her with a lot of questions about the planets, about natural life, about a lot of things. They asked her if she spoke other languages, and she showed that she can speak now all Greek and several other language. So that impressed all these men, and she was. I don't want to use the word famous, but she was known in Mexico City and a little bit more ahead of Mexico City. So they know her. Um, in this panel, they test her intelligence, and she demonstrate knowledge. And before that, and after that, more men still coming to ask her to marry, but her tryst to keep reading. She know if she marries, she have to give up to read books and to have a voice and to be whatever she want to do. So she give up that. And and then at 21 years old, she decide and she become a nun. So she know if she become a nun, she's going to be close to books, because in any convent, when you are, inside of the convent, and they have this place where they have all these books, she can have access to all that. And also back then, being in a nun or a priest, or all these kind, the titles into the Catholic Church, they can have more power, if you are a simple married female. So she know that she was very intelligent. So she said, I don't want to give my books. I want to go and keep reading and keep learning. So she turned in a nun. And she was 21, I'm sorry, when she entered into the convent, the order of San Jerome, where she will remain until she died. Let me show you the next slide really quick here. So time passed, and right now, scholars such as Scott Frewer argue that because Juana's advocacy for religious and intellectual authority will now be associated with feminists, she was a proto-feminist. So I don't know these things. This is amazing information that women, even though from where they are, from their platforms, they empower other females through poesy. And I'm gonna give you a little bit. I don't want to read the whole thing because the language and where she writes is Spanish, but I want to say is the Spanish in the back times, and it's very formal, and some words I don't even know what it means. I want to be honest with you. So I want to read two. It's a four um, uh, big chunks of the poem that she wrote for a man. So she wrote a lot of poems, and she have a lot of books, right? And actually, she have a conflict with a guy into the church, because this man, he fake to be her, and she writes something, and she responds so beautifully with other letter. And is when she become more powerful. Know her. A lot of people start, well, if you want to say now, follow her, and know more about her. So, but she get punished. She get punished because she was a rebel. So, and they take it off all her paper. They take it off paper, and when she writing, she take it off everything from that. And in the last years of her life, she did not write or do anything because she was punished, and they take it away paper and pencil. And what happened was she focused in helping others because there was a big pandemic back then in Mexico. I think there was the cholera that was happening, and she died from that too because she was helping others to get better into the pandemic. So in the 21st century, Latino philosophers and scholars generally interpreted Sor Juana as a feminist before the time of feminism, is what they say. And this is the poem that I want to talk about. So, you foolish men, and in Spanish is hombres necios que acusáis a la mujer, is what they say in Spanish. So they say, you foolish men who lay the guilt on women. No sin, you are the cause of the very thing you blame. If you invite their disdain with measureless desire, why wish they well behave if you incite to ill? You fight the stubbornness, then, waitly, you say it was their lightness when it was you guile. In all your crazy shows, you are just like a child who plays the boogeyman, of which he then afraid. So, from her point to be unknown, because in other part of You Foolish Men, this poem is very long. She talking about prostitution, and she say, who is doing this? You want to blame the female that is a prostitute, but you pay to she doing it. So she was ahead of her time, and she, from her platform is being unknown, she read and she educate herself to be this smart woman that now we know. Well, she was knowing back then, but now, I feel like a lot of females, and this is from me, is something that made me think. Sorority, the word sorority, she was Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. So Sor is the first letters or sorority. Sorority, they say, is a group of women, of girls joined together by common interest for fellowships. So it's what we're doing right now. It's what Jess is doing now. So the origin of sorority is the medieval Latin sororitas, from Latin soror, that means sister, and Swissors, and Indo-European roots from American Heritage Dictionary of the English language in the 5th edition. From Renaissance, Latin sor a or rita, from Latin soror, that means sisters. And so that is what I learned about sorority. That is what we're talking about too much about sorority, because men have fraternity, and they come from Fray. There is Fray, Servando, Fray, there was brothers. That word come from brothers. And men, we have to learn from them. Like Jess was talking about, sometimes we are a little bit like, and just like, ooh, something like that between females. So we have to learn that from the men. The men, they cover each other. They support each other. Even they don't know. It's some video, simple as that right now in the internet. A guy, he tell the wife that he have to stay with his friend, and the wife call the man, and he say, yeah. And they don't have it so long to know this man, and they support each other. So why we not do that as a females? That is sorority. I'm not saying, this is a good example, but it's what comes to my mind right now. But so sorority is a very beautiful word, which I learned from a friend. Her name is Maria Ramirez. When she introduced me to this word, I'm just like, oh, Okay, okay, I got you. I got you. So it's a beautiful word in where we have to not only say it, but we have to act as a females, and that is what I'm here supporting Jess, and Jess is supporting me. And now Genesis is here too. Aleida is here too to support me in this talk. And we have to, it's something that is going back and forth. And sometimes we not receive from other the same female that we help. Sometimes they coming from other place from other female. So keep doing what you're doing it good. And that is one thing that I want to share with you about sor. The word sorority come from sor, sister, like Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, which is his female. And this is something that made me think, so I want to share this with you. And I was thinking last night, I was thinking, if Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz was alive today, probably she will be very disappointed in how some females today, they have the opportunity to go to college, don't want to attend college today. So she was fighting to go to school. She was fighting. She wanted to dress like a man to go to school and learn more. And today, females, they say, no, it's not important for me. And I think, in my opinion, it's important, even though you want to learn like paint nails or do hair or something, but educate yourself is very important. Read books. This is a simple example to reading a books. They can make you a different person, and you can learn, a lot of stuff. So that is my talk today, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you love it. And I don't know, somebody want to say something to me? Do you like it?
I loved it, Patty. That is you picked a very awesome individual to, because it doesn't even matter if she was in Mexico or in China or in, Argentina. It doesn't matter where she was. It is the fact that she really helped a lot of women, and that whole poem was so powerful to me, because that's the point that I want to make, is that we don't need to judge each other on what we're doing. I've had so many friends in my life that I've had to let go of because they simply just didn't want to empower themselves. They wanted to sit in their shit. And I'll just say it just like that. And unfortunately, two of my friends, I always was like, why am I the only empowered one that is just keep on going like a bull? And all my other friends are like, goodbye, Jesse. And they dropped off. And I've had a lot of people, and I think that's what my motivation is to keep doing this, is because I've had a lot of girls drop off or get some, their life ended, something drastic happened, and it was all because they weren't educated. And a lot of the problems that I see with women in bad areas, in good areas, women in general, I've just learned that they need the education. They need the permission that they can go learn, because a lot of them want to learn. When I first decided I wanted to go to school, I got told in 2006, when I first got off the road, by my boyfriend at the time. He told me that I needed to get out of dream world, and I wasn't going to be going to college because I needed to make money. And I was like, look, that was like my first wake up call. Like, first of all, I'm not a work mule. And just because I know how to sell stuff and make a lot of money in sales, you go get a job. Like, when did I start, taking care of you? And that was my first aha moment. And then when I finally did get into school, and I had to beg to get into that too, as well, because I've been in toxic relationships. And I know some women out here are understanding this. I was told all kinds of crazy things that were not relevant of why I wanted to sign up for school, but that's how a narcissist works, is they break you down. And they want to, because education is the key for anybody in any situation. If you want to get better and you want to move forward, you were in Mexico, you were in a bad situation, and you're like, I can stay here and it can continue to be like this, or I'll just go over there on the other side of fear. and it can't be any worse than what's right now. And I just love it that you not only empower people with your words, but like sharing this today is so amazing because people really don't. I didn't know about her. I'm still learning about, and that's why I also learned that maybe I need to learn some more history, because that's what's going to make me more of an empowered person and be able to join my sisters. Because for so many years I was that girl who I've been hurt by a lot of females, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to make any friends, and I was that girl who said I don't make friends with girls, and now I feel that was just my younger me, because now I'm in my 40s and I've always made friends with women, no matter what I say. I've always had my little group
And
of
see,
women.
that is another conference in Spanish, and that I give uh, a while ago, and this month, and I give it in Spanish, and I say, "Do you hear the word at the worst enemy of a female's other female?" And that
Yes,
was saying for a man. So I want to,
it's silly.
take it off that and forget about it. We have to, and we have to copy men in that point. So we have to copy
It's
what
called the
they
bro
do.
code. You
They
got to hold the
support
bro
each
code.
other. Yes, and we need men. I'm not here to busting men and say no, 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 no. That is not the point. The point is the fingers are pointing to me, to Petty Holmes, to all the females. They're pointing the fingers to me and say, I have to love my sister into the sorority. I have to accept them. I have to talk to them, the way.
So
Hey, hello, Genesis. Hi.
Genesis has, you can read your comments that you were, I was going to read them for you, but you popped on. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this, because this is like such a fun group of women right here, that we're all from different backgrounds and cultures, but we can all unify on one topic. And Genesis is amazing. For those of you who didn't catch her performance, she is the author of Chocolate Drop in America, Corporate from Pit to the Palace. I almost got it right.
Hey everyone, happy Friday, first of all. Patty, I loved your presentation. I jumped on a little bit late because I had to find some time to eat today. If not, I would be
You had to
very
eat.
hungry. So one good thing I learned from your presentation is about this phenomenal woman from Mexico, because I didn't really know about her. I've heard her name before, but I didn't take the time to research all the incredible things that she did. And one thing that stood out whenever you were speaking that resonated with me is we as women have to do justice to one another by supporting each other, looking for ways that we can show up for one another, whether it's giving feedback, whether it's buying from a woman owned business, whether it's being a referral for somebody saying, hey, I have this friend over here who has these products and services that I think that you could benefit from. Here's her information. Something as simple as that. We all have amazing gifts, skills, and talents that we have, but sometimes I feel like we as women want to be in competition with one another versus looking for ways to complement each other. And the reason why I said that is because spending 15 years in corporate America in a male dominated field such as oil and gas, you see that it's very cutthroat. You see if one woman makes it up the corporate ladder and you're like, and you ask that woman a question, like she's giving you bits and pieces, but she's not necessarily giving you the whole foreplay. Or if you accelerate and then you reach your hand out to help somebody else, why can't the next woman do it? Because we didn't get here by ourselves. We all stood on the back of someone else or build the building blocks from someone else, whether it was our ancestors, the ones that went before us to pave a way. So if other women did it back then, why can't we do it now as present day women? And I guess I just really just took away whenever you were talking about education and why some girls don't want to go to college. I guess my questions around that is, are we asking the girls what their why is behind not wanting to go to college? Are we understanding their their RCA, their root cause analysis? Is it them not having enough resources, whether it's finances or having someone to believe in them? Is it they don't know what they want to study in school? Are they afraid of not being able to make the money back that they spent putting themselves through schools? Because there's a lot of women and young girls I met that live in, poverty, whether it's in Texas where I live, Houston, Texas, or if it's people overseas where they definitely have the willingness to want to educate themselves and accelerate, but they don't know like that there's free programs out there such as grants, scholarships. Do they know how to apply for it? Do they have a computer in their home? Do they have a place where they could go and someone could walk them through the FAFSA? Do they have people in their family that has went? A lot of people are maybe first generation Americans, or and they've yes, and they're like the first one to go to college. And I could resonate with that because even though my parents, well, my dad passed away, he was South American, and my mom is Caribbean. I was the first person to really graduate from a 4-year college. My brother went to college, but he went to a technical school. My two sisters, they dabbled, but they have the entrepreneurial mindset. But just because people in your family are doing something different, and that doesn't mean that you have to follow their path. We all have our own path, and we have the freedom to choose what we want to do. But I would definitely encourage those young women who are going to listen to your phenomenal presentation, Patty, that be your own difference maker, be the change that you want other people to see, and don't let resources and not having enough, I guess, drive or charisma limit you from your endless possibilities, because there are so many resources out there. And I think with you, Patty, being from Mexico, being a trailblazer, being gifted and talented in your field, you have a lot of weight to carry. You have a lot of accolades under your belt, and I could just definitely see you going back to Mexico, telling all these young women like, you are a rock star. Tap into your gifts and your talents and be what you want to be. If you want to be a hairstylist, be the best hairstylist, but you still need education to know that chemicals are going to change, processes are going to change. We have so many new technologies. If you want to be a singer, be the best singer, but don't just say, oh, I'm going to sing and not learn more about your craft. In everything that we want to do, you have to learn it. So I'm going to get off the soapbox, Patty. This is not, but it's yours. And I just really, resonated what you said. And I just hated that I missed your poem. So I'm going to have to go back and watch the replay.
Yes.
I
No,
love
it's what I love about Sor Juana, she and amazed me because in your mind you're thinking, she's a nun. Well, what nun can do? They pray, is what we know. That is a females that they are in the convent praying, not doing nothing, just spiritual things. You think that. And when I know about her because in Mexico, when you go to the elementary school, and all these years that you go to the basic school, they make you read the biography of this person, and you have to write the life. You have to give it to the teacher. That is the way in Mexico. And we have to go to the place where they sell these little stamps, and in the back they come in their life, so we have to copy and we have to make it pretty and everything. So it's how I know about Sor Juana. And also it's a lot of saying. Every time the a man is so rude or something, we always say foolish men. So hombres necios que acusáis a la mujer. So we always messing around that because we refer to that poem a lot of times in Mexico about saying they are being rude, they are being mean to a female, but it's kind of like a joke. In my country, it's very, very, machista. Sometimes, oh boy, and I always say this, when I came here to United States, I always condemn American females because they say, oh, they're so liberal. Oh, They do whatever they want. Oh, because I was so blind. I want to be honest with you. I condemn a lot of things in America because I come in from a place where I never knew something different. And I know was educated to through education and living in this country helped me a lot to open my mind in a lot of things. Like for example, my husband, he's an American, and whatever I learned in home was like female cooks and serve the family, and she's the last one to sit down and to eat. She first served to the men, second she served to the kids, and then she served. And if it's poor, she eat the leftovers. So that is in my culture. And when I married to my husband, Greg, he's an American, he's from Pennsylvania, and I cook, I clean, I do everything, this and that, and I was, getting like, yeah. So it was so funny because he like, no, I'm a big boy. I can take care of myself, honey. You fix your place, fix the girls. I'm old enough, And he always told me, I said, I marry you because I love you, because my slave. You don't have to wash the clothes. He come from work and I feel so guilty. I feel guilty because he was washing clothes. And I never see that in home. So for me, it's a big awakening, in a lot of things, living in this society, in America society, And before I always say, oh, the white girl's so bossy, and they say, you do this and you give me this. And I see, African American females, and they say, "Nee, nee, 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 nee." I just like, oh my God, that is so cool. Now I am like, Greg, can you do this for me? Like I'm learning now. I just like, oh, okay, all right. So it's something that, this is kind of like a joke too, but like I'm learning all this stuff, and it's amazing, through Sor Juana. So Sor Juana in her platform, from being a nun, she empowered other women. She was looking, this is missing. Well, what I can do, I write. So this is the only thing I can do, I write it. And she become a big personality in Mexico to one point. She was very smart. So you don't have to show you. I always say, I don't have to show my boobies to bring a point, to
I
be
love it
independent.
because that
But
is
I can use my brain. I can use my brain. I have on my platform of México que sí pudiera. And also, what I did last Wednesday, I bring a trans female. That was my guess. So we're talking about inclusion, but less inclusion, that females too. And she
nice.
tell us her story. That was so powerful, knowing, because I'm so ignorant about this community, And she is a female. She say, I'm a female. I'm a born female, and she transcend. She make her change from male body to a female. And she say, I'm a female. And that is what we have to do. That is sorority, in my eyes, doing what Sor Juana, from her platform, from her, what she know, she empowered other ones. And she say, that's it. This is I can do. So I'm not able to do more, but there you go, So it's amazing.
Go ahead.
Right, Patty, was that the fact that you dropped the nugget that you don't have to show your boobs to, you know,
Yes.
get the attention of other people. You use your brain because sometimes, my husband, he's American, and but my family would say Black American because he's not from where we're from. And sometimes he would say, well, sex, drama, and drugs sell. And I said, well, just because sex, drama, and drugs sell does not mean that people have to adapt to that. Even though that may be the number one seller, I believe that when you are destined to do something, the universe and God will position you to where you will elevate in your respective area. So you don't need to demean your morals, your values, and your characteristics to get to something that you want faster. And so that's beautiful, that because that's going to encourage somebody, like, your body is your temple. So, you know, take care of your body and don't keep in yourself at the easy expense of someone else.
Yeah, and that is one thing I just want to close with that. You know, love is the base of everything. But what is the base of love? Respect. So if you respect, love come by herself. So we start respect ourselves as a females and love ourselves first, and then when your tank is full, then they can become more and more and more, and you can give to anybody, and empty. So respect yourself first, respect your brain, your body, and then love come by itself.
I totally agree with that too, because that's my biggest thing coming out here. I've had instances when I first started out, and I had some coach lady try to insult me, but it was weird because she tried to insult me about money, that I didn't have this $50,000 mindset, and she tried to shame me, right? And I go to her page, and she's supposed to be the spiritual healer, but she's in a bikini. Now tell me how comfortable you would feel around me healing you and your husband, and I'm just dancing around in my bikini, like, here you go. Like, that is like, and I look at that and I'm like, you are like, that is not love and light. That is called a brothel. Those are dances, they're clubs, there's all kinds of places for that. But you're not going to shame me and tell me because I don't want to spend $50,000, or I don't want to make $50,000 off of somebody's woes. And I say this to people because there's such a just real quick, there's just such a wrong picture painted out there for people that don't have the knowledge, who haven't got educated, and then unfortunately they have this illusion in their mind of what success is supposed to look like, right? And it doesn't look like all these girls on the videos with their thongs on and their boobies hanging out. Because if you do have any guy friends, you will know that they make fun of those girls, and that's why they made all these songs that they don't respect girls like that. And when it comes down to it, that's why I've learned. I've been door to door. I've ran into people that tried to, ooh, give me a show and I'll give you $50, and just degrade me. And I'm like, you know what? No, thank you. Because my pride, there's something about my pride there. So when you can get right with yourself to know that if you have a dream and you put it out there and you want help with it, the universe will come to your back. But there is nothing in there that says that you have to degrade yourself or be anything less than awesome, and come out here and just do your thing. But this whole thing of sex sells and everything, that wasn't a man-made inserted society thing, that I feel like it happened almost like in the cowboy days, because we don't think about this. In those days, they didn't have much entertainment. They didn't have a TV. So they did have brothels. They had the bar, and upstairs, you went upstairs and you got laid by, and you had all the girls down there, and it was a normal thing. But I really feel like that kind of just spread throughout our history. And it's kind of, if you look at like Netflix and stuff, I'm just like, who's making these movies these days? Like, holy cow, I feel like a prude almost, because I see, like, the rated R movies used to be like you would get a butt, okay? Like, you would see a butt, and now it's like full frontal everything, and I'm like, holy cow. And I've had some movies that had the sweetest title, and then 5 minutes into it, I'm traumatized. So I'm just saying, like, I don't understand where we got so nasty as a society, because I used to make fun of girls like, that's so, oh my gosh, you could show a little something that's not, in the 90s. If you look in the 90s, we didn't really we were a little more modest. And I used to make fun of like my grandmother for being so, oh my gosh, I can't believe that girl's got a mini skirt on. I'm like, oh geez, it's a mini skirt. But bring it to
Pero
now
now,
and you're like, holy
well,
cow, can you
but what
please put your
happened?
cheeks
The
back
way
in?
that I've been learning that and talking with other females that are very empowered men, they are very power about what happened is I have a group of females, they are from Venezuela, very educated females, more educated than me, like lawyers and doctors and whatever, just like, okay, they my friends, very, very simple people. And I love them because I bring them to my show. So we was talking and we have a show called The Hen Who Rocked the Crib. Who is that?
Yep.
Females.
It
We
is.
have the power to give life to females and to males. So it's our job to empower us and through empowerment, educate men, is what I think. So,
I love it.
all these women's and all these, I love Salma Hayek because Salma Hayek is from
Oh, I
besides
love her.
town.
She's my
She's
favorite.
beautiful. She's this and she is empowered and
And
this.
you can show it, but like, do it respectful. She does it in a nice
But
gown and
yeah, but
got,
guess what? One thing, I love her and I love her job and everything, the movies and Antonio Banderas. Ooh, but what I mean is she's empowered other females. I follow her, but is that is the thing that I don't like. They try to sell themselves through sexism because they try to show body and
because
everything.
unfortunately, I bet that's how, when she got here I bet if we looked at the beginning of her career, that's how she was taught how to make it. If you know anything about hot yoga, craziest thing, I watched the documentary, and hot yoga was introduced in like the 90s in California first by this guy who was a fake guru. He actually stole somebody
Yeah.
else's stuff, and then he got all these women and he told them, hey, I'll give you your yoga studio. In fact, you have to go to me through me to get your yoga studio, and if I don't approve you, you can't have the name, because he had everybody bamboozled back then, and he had women in there doing inappropriate things in his and they were just like, and, it's so abusing. And they finally got up and they finally told their story about it. But it's amazing because it's that struggle of the women. And
Yeah.
I feel like what you just said, you have two women and one decided, if I don't do this, I'm not gonna, yeah, but one said, I'm gonna do what I want. And the other one said, I better do this or I'm not gonna, because it depends on your programming. See, and that's why we're doing this bad boy, because we want people to stop being
I love it. I love to be here. Thank you,
silly,
Jen.
silly stuff. Thank you so much for being here today. And
This is female empowerment female.
there
And
you
she
go.
say, educarse, that means going to school is empowerment. I love my friend Patty. I love her too a lot. Aleida Ale she is from Chicago and she started following me and I went to a group. She belongs to a group in where it's violence. They not victims. I don't want to say that word. They are survivors of,
Survivors of the
violence.
toxic shadows.
Yes, so they have a group is of females, and I go sometimes and give a talks and just go there with them and talk to them, empower
Nice.
them and say, "Come on, let's can do it."
Well, we're going to wrap this up. I am so grateful that you guys are here. We've had a few hiccups in this week, but you know what? Genesis made me remember that, I show up every day, and it's not because I show up just for me. I know other people. I show up for other people out there to be a beacon of light for y'all, to know that you can be imperfectly imperfect and you can be a hot mess, but as long as you're learning and you're loving people and you're helping and you're not grabbing on navigating to the negative, you may navigate to the confusion, the gray space in between, but don't navigate to the darkness, because you know what? in any moment it can change, and we're all living proof here. We're all here, we're all doing our thing, and there's so much more success that's going to happen. And next year I can totally see a whole new picture of level of where we're going to be at right here.
Yep.
But
And
God,
remember, it's a process. We have to be patient with ourselves.
Go ahead, Genesis.
no. I was just commenting on what you said and what Patty said. I said, to God be the glory. We're just speaking it and we're manifesting all the incredible things that we as women are doing. And we're presenting women that are empowering one another as well as other people in our own strength.
Exactly. So thank you, beautiful souls, for tuning in today. Make sure you tune in for our last presentation at 3 p.m. Central Time. Cheryl Meyer she's a published author of It Feels Good to Feel Good. She's actually won silver medal award for this book, and she has a follow-up book to it, so you won't want to miss her presentation. She has two authors, and one of them is about the author who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, so it's going to be super interesting. And I love her. She's she was my very first guest that I had on Dancing in the Toxic Shadows. So she has been part of my sorority since I stepped out into the motivational speaking field. And I'm just really happy to have this group of women, and y'all make me happy to get up here and keep doing my thing every day. So thank you for the ones that support me out there, and I know that we're out here supporting y'all. So tune in at 3 p.m. We'll see you later, guys. Love and light, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.